Hello, Mr. McGrath. How are you today?
I'm very good, Derek. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I came here today to ask you a few questions, if that's okay with you, sir.
That's very, very okay.
All right. These questions are actually regarding the death penalty in America, and we like your previous reaction to this. So, my first question to you is, what are your thoughts on the death penalty?
Well, I'm totally against it. And that comes from a personal experience of just kind of my own formation of conscience. I don't see the point of taking someone's life. But that also comes deeply from my Catholic faith. The Catholic Church has always stand opposed to the death penalty. There's this belief in Catholicism that every life is worth living. And that's a belief that I espouse. Committing a crime, even as heinous as a crime might be, doesn't make you less of a human than someone else. Life is always worth living. So I believe that even for the most serious crimes, a lifetime in jail is better because that gives the person behind bars the ability to make peace with the person that they've harmed and with their God. So yeah, I'm totally against the death penalty.
Interesting. It's really interesting how you brought up the fact that faith has to do with the death penalty because, like I said, I also believe that it's ethically wrong to kill a person. And I think, personally for me, it's been corrupted because of the lives that were lost and how many families were affected to this. So I also agree with you. My second question to you is, do you believe that the criminal justice system has failed? And why do you think that?
I mean, that's a complicated question because it's failed on different fronts. I think the death penalty is a failure. I think that's indicative of a failure on the part of the United States criminal justice system. I think there's also problems with what people are being put behind bars and what for. There's definitely issues there, but as far as the death penalty is concerned, it's not the point of the criminal justice system to get rid of human beings. It's to bring about justice. That's a complex term, but it's to make right of the situation. And it's my belief, and I think a lot of other Americans believe, that getting rid of the criminal completely and killing them and ending their life is not justice. It seems like it at the time, but there's no way for that person who's behind bars or the family that they've harmed to make peace, to come to terms, to come to reconciliation. And again, coming to that place of forgiveness is very hard. It's not easy, but it's impossible if the person's been killed. I think that's one of the big failures. There's other failures in terms of sentence length, people that aren't guilty of crimes being put behind bars. There's so many other things that could be looked at. People being put behind bars for some small crimes. But I think the big one with the death penalty is that they're ending people's lives and they're not reaching that point of reconciliation.
Okay. Thank you for the answer that you have given us. So my third question to you is that, did you know that the death penalty has executed in some cases regarding innocent lives? People were innocent and they were killed for very minor things. What's your reaction to this?
I mean, I know that, and my reaction is obviously I'm horrified. And ideally, we wouldn't be putting people behind bars who are innocent, especially for very serious crimes that would require 20 years behind bars, a lifetime behind bars, or even the death penalty. So obviously, my initial reaction is I'm horrified, and I think it's an argument against the death penalty, because if that person was behind bars for life, if at some point they figured out that person was innocent, that hopefully that person would still be alive and justice would be served and that person would be left free. Again, if you take the person's life, then that's not possible. I mean, again, in an ideal world, you wouldn't be locking up those people that are innocent, but at the very least, if you keep them alive in the prison, there's a chance that they'll be able to be free once they're found to be innocent. But the death penalty gets rid of that.
Okay. All right, thank you. And my fourth and last question, is there any way that society today that we can do something to change the system peacefully since they are the government?
I think so, and I think the death penalty is dying out, pun intended. I think most states, have abolished it. Some of the states that still have it barely ever use it. It takes up money when they do. They force these prisoners to live for way too long on death row with the prospect of a death waiting for them in the background, not of a natural death of health reasons, but a death from like torture or whatever the means might be. So my advice, I think the way you do it is you just get rid of it. California, of course, as you know, didn't pass the ban on the death penalty to a lot of surprise and to my surprise. But yeah, I think you vote on it, you get rid of it, you destroy the electric chairs, you destroy the needles that give the lethal injections, and you introduce a system that focuses on restitution, on making people see eye to eye again, to make justice possible. Once the death penalty is eliminated, then we can start to focus our energy on some of the other reforms that need to take place in the criminal justice system. Right now, death penalty is kind of the hot button issue. It's always, which states have the death penalty? What states need to get rid of the death penalty? How much does the death penalty cost? Once we're totally done with the death penalty, like we should be, like a humane society, we can start to focus our energy and our attention on the other issues. And I think that would be a good step for our country moving forward.
All right. Thank you so much for this interview, and we really thank you for all the answers that you have given us.
Well, thank you for your time and for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.